wake up and welcome to another Wrestling Wednesday episode here on the Funky Pod. Do I have to rename it? But I mean, it's obvious why it's not necessarily Wednesday right now, but maybe you're listening or watching on Wednesday then. Welcome to Wrestling Wednesday. If it's not, it's because, of course, Hell in a Cell just happened, and I thought, let's just wait with the pod for a little until Hell in a Cell is done, so we can talk about all the things that happened there as well. And it's done, so let's talk about it. But before we talk about Hell in a Cell, props to, yes, my favorite show right now, and no, still not paid by Tony Khan. Tony, what's happening? Do I need to trash you before you pay me? So let's talk about AEW Dynamite first. For those who are offended now, no, WWE is better. Let's talk about Dynamite first because it's the first show that happened. Does it happen before SmackDown? I don't even know anymore. Dynamite is moving around the whole time. Next time it's on Saturday. Dynamite. Get a grip. Alright, so AEW Dynamite this week with some interesting matches, I want to say. First match, Jake Hager versus Wardlow in an MMA style match. And yes, Jake Hager is a legit MMA fighter. Well, legit. He's a professional MMA fighter for Bellator. His fights, but his opponents haven't been that impressive. Let's say it like this. But still, congratulations for being a legit fighter, Jake Hager. Yes. So this MMA rules cage fight, right? It's a wrestling show. So why would you act like MMA? I don't get it. 3 rounds, 5 minutes, just like in MMA. But why would you try that? I don't understand. The takedowns and stuff look decent-ish, but I mean, of course you can go for takedowns. But the punches, like those winging punches. I mean, maybe that's how Hager fights. But no, that was not great. Jake Hager won via submission or via choking Wardlow unconscious in the second round. Wardlow went out by throwing up the middle finger towards Chris Jericho and then just going out. Afterwards, Hager was like, hey man, good fight, try to fist bump. And then, of course, he got jumped and then chaos broke out as expected between the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle. What else? We had a quick backstage chat with Frankie Kazarian, because this time he's with Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miedo. I still love it. Kaz goes all in with like the weird Bible verses and stuff. Eddie Kingston just adds something, and even Penta El Zero Miedo says something in broken English, which sounds kind of cool when he says it, of course. All nice. We had also Team Taz backstage, making it clear that last time Powerhouse Hobbs, still a stupid name, Powerhouse Hobbs only got beat because it was 2-on-1 in a 1-on-1 against Hangman Adam Page. He gonna kick his ass, of course. And of course, later on, Adam Page in another backstage segment, of course, accepts the challenge, but celebrates his buddies from the Dark Order first. Kind of weird segment. The second match of the night was a handicap match between Darby Allin and the Man of the Year. And of course it was a stupid idea, and of course Darby Allin would lose. That's it. Stupid. I mean, didn't make sense. Did not make sense. We then also had Orange Cassidy with the Best Friends and Chris Statlander, of course, versus Cesar Bononi and the Wingman. And I hated the Wingman for a while. And now it's kind of funny, to be honest. And every time Bononi would like manhandle Cassidy and throw him out of the ring, they were there with like tanning spray and spray Cassidy full of tanning spray, and I even put a jacket on him to make him look better. That was kind of funny. Eventually, of course, it all broke down again, and then the Best Friends interfered to help Cassidy against the Wingman. And then Cassidy would have like several Superman punches against several Wingmen, and then in the end also another Superman punch against Bononi, and this is then enough for the victory, which was nice. Orange punch and another Superman punch, orange punch, and this was enough for the victory for Orange Cassidy. So congratulations, Orange Cassidy. It was a fun match. Orange Cassidy these days always in fun matches. The Wingmen are also growing, I think, so not bad. I enjoyed this. This was kind of fun. Best Friends also smart interference or help against the interference, so this was all good. Another backstage segment because we have WWE. Alex Mares again in the back trying to interview Jungle Boy, and Kenny Omega comes there, of course, with with Nakazawa again, and talking and acting like he wants a street fight with Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy's like, okay, if that's what you want, gets ready. And then Nakazawa attacks him from behind. Jungle Boy fights back. Kenny, Don Callis run away, drive away in a golf cart, leave Nakazawa there so that he gets the punishment, but they can flee. Yeah, kind of funny, but also kind of, it's getting too much with the backstage segments. Another backstage segment with the Hardy family office, still a stupid name, running down Christian Cage. Christian Cage comes, tries to attack. They lock him into like a backstage, like whatever area there. Equipment cage, I believe. Hardy says, I give you money if you leave, but of course Cage says like, no way, I'm gonna go. It's getting too much with the backstage segments. You're not WWE, please. You're not Hell in a Cell, so stop it. You then have Cody Rhodes and Brock Anderson, with Arn Anderson by his side, against Aaron Solo and QT Marshall. And I'm still not a fan of QT Marshall, but he's a good heel. Aaron Solo flips around a little nice. I don't know, not sold yet. Neither on Brock Anderson. Brock Anderson looked like really rough around the edges, as if I would know that. But he looked really rough a little bit, but maybe a bit overwhelmed also with the dad watching. But of course, Cody does what Cody does. Cody thinks, of course, he came out with like fireworks, of course. It was like the middle of the card match, fireworks. And like, yeah, and that's the Hulk Hogan thing that he does. Anyways, in the end, then he was brawling with QT Marshall to the outside, so that then Brock could pin Solo and get the victory. Congratulations. What else? We had another segment, of course, with Jake Roberts and Lance Archer. Now they're trying to build Archer up again as this monster after he always gets his ass kicked. Build him up as a monster, gets ass kicked. Build him up as a monster, gets ass kicked. We know how this goes, of course. We have a sit-down interview with JR and Andrade El Idolo. And he's, of course, I come to AEW because I can't do the accent, I'm sorry. It's the best place to be, and he's the best wrestler, and so on. We all know those things. And he says him and Vicky fit very well together, and they have a surprise. So be ready for this. Okay. Well, as we have Penelope Ford versus Julia Hart with the Varsity Blondes, and it was a decent match. There was nice back and forth. In the end, of course, Penelope Ford would pick up the victory by locking in her submission. Would hold on very, 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 very long. So the Varsity Blondes try to like break it up, and Miro comes out and says like, "Hey man, have sympathy for this poor little girl, for Penelope Ford. Like her wedding didn't go the way it should be, and her husband is injured. Miro injured him, and then he just takes on the Varsity Blondes and brawls. All right." We of course also have Dr. Britt Baker there with another promo, of course, with Tony, best friends there, and of course Vicky interrupts and just like Nyla is gonna take the championship, of course, and there's a little bit of back and forth, but then that's it. We see another hype video of FTR and Santana and Ortiz, like everyone's like, we're the best tag team. Ooh. Yeah, it's nice, but it's just a lot of promos and backstage segments this week, but it's nice. You have another segment of Jade Cargill again, which is also a little bit weird now. It's just also too much. Just let her fight, is what I'm saying here. The main event then, Frankie Kazarian, Penta El, Cero Miedo, and Eddie Kingston versus the Good Brothers and Matt Jackson. Don Callis on commentary several times saying that Nick Jackson is somewhere in one of the boardrooms just watching this right now, doing important business, which lets you know, of course, he's going to interfere. And it was a great back and forth in the beginning, like Kazarian just kicks ass, like really good. Then, of course, the Good Brothers somehow sneakily managed to take over. Lots of back and forth. Penta going crazy in between, of course, which is awesome. Eddie Kingston brawling in between, as always. It looks like they can pull off the victory. And then, of course, eventually we have Nick Jackson coming out, interfering with the spray again, just like always. And that's then eventually, after a really cool brawl, and really watch this match. It was great. Back and forth. Penta with some high-flying stuff. Kingston with some brawling stuff. Matt Jackson with some cool stuff as well. So really cool. But in the end, it's Nick Jackson with the spray, of course, and that's enough to take home the victory. So congratulations. And this was kind of to be expected. and so the feud will continue, obviously. Overall, again, I enjoyed it a lot. I'm still, as I say, every week, this Cody Rhodes to WWE stuff, a bit heavy on the backstage segments this week, but other than that, the matches themselves were pretty cool, with the main event totally delivering, in my opinion. So thanks for this. We also had transition. Okay, let's just talk about SmackDown. SmackDown announced, like, short notice, we will have the Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio Hell in a Cell on SmackDown, not at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, because reasons. Okay, great. So we saw, what did we see? I have a few notes. Let me look at my notes. Okay, so we, of course, Roman Reigns, Rey Mysterio. Of course, Hell in a Cell. And of course, Roman Reigns basically kills Rey Mysterio. Right? I mean, that was to be expected. I don't know. That was just terrible. Yeah, he dominated him. He choked him out, and yeah, that was the end basically of the show. Like Mysterio tapping out, but nah, I don't understand. It's like really weird why they moved this like early on there. That was terrible. Also, I wrote down in my notes, and I'm just checking not to forget it. Jimmy was there, but Jay wasn't there. Uso. So, yeah, but of course, it's just a continuing storyline, right? We had again Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz versus Kevin Owens and Big E. And of course, Aziz hit Owens with the Nigerian nail, like once, twice, I don't know. Of course, also Sami Zayn was on the ring, so like, hey, we're gonna have like Hell in a Cell against Kevin Owens and gonna kill him, of course. We had another Shinsuke Nakamura versus King Corbin match. Okay, now Shinsuke Nakamura can actually keep the crown. Congratulations. And then we had Bianca Belair challenging Bayley to Hell in a Cell. Of course, Bayley accepts and attacks her, of course, leaving her down and out. And we already know what that means for Hell in a Cell. We then also had Angelo Dawkins being attacked again by Otis and Chad Gable, of course. And Chad Gable like all smiley and like, yeah, that's how. And so that's how it now all plays out, of course. Cesaro then challenged Seth Rollins for Hell in a Cell because Rollins interrupted Cesaro in the interview backstage. And he said, I don't respect anything about you, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, we got them for Hell in a Cell. So that's basically the setup. Yeah? SmackDown was like the setup for Hell in a Cell now. So let's talk about Hell in a Cell. I have lots of notes, but actually we can make it really short. So, Mandy Rose versus Natalya. Surprisingly good. So, positive things first. Surprisingly good. I'm not a big fan of either of the women here, but for how they are usually positioned, surprisingly good. Mostly focusing on actually technique. And Natalya then with the dominant technique, winning at the end. So, I say that's not bad. What I really didn't like much was Bianca Belair versus Bayley in Hell in a Cell. The cell didn't really do that much, so yeah, they used it a little, and they used the ladder, fair, but Bayley always going for the hair. Like it's getting too much right now. This Bianca Belair is getting too much. It's just a little bit annoying. You thought, of course, Bayley would be able to pull it off once in a while, but you would know, or you knew in the back of your head, not gonna happen, right? So then in the end, as Bianca Belair with her finish maneuver onto a ladder, and then that's enough to get the pinfall. In the afterwards, she had an interview, and she's like, "Yeah, I won, and still, but Bayley kicked my ass. I hate her for that. I'm never gonna forgive her for that." It doesn't make sense. That's already a theme for this Hell in a Cell. We had Cesaro, Seth Rollins. Rollins attacked before the bell rang, of course, trying like his heelish tactics and so on. Of course, Cesaro pulls through, kicks out of the Falcon Arrow, kicks out of like all the finishers, avoids the stomp and so on, then uses some of his own finishers just to eventually getting rolled up and lose via roll up. What? What? Oh my God. That is ridiculous. It was a great match until then, but what in the next finisher doesn't make sense. I hate it. Okay, let's continue this trend. The match was awesome until the finish. Finish ruined it. Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler. Alexa, everyone was like, involved, like Reginald and Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax and everyone. As soon as Alexa Bliss looks at them, they're like, "Oh no, don't look at her!" Nia Jax didn't look away quick enough, so then Alexa Bliss would control her body and her mind. And when Alexa Bliss went like this, Nia Jax just slapped Reginald. Eventually, then Alexa Bliss would counter Shayna Baszler's finishing move and then have like Bray Wyatt's finishing move and her own finishing move, and so she just won in the end. I love Alexa Bliss usually, but man, this creepy stuff, this like, I look at you and I possess you. Yeah, but maybe if it's for the right target audience, but no, it was not great. It was not great. Then we had Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Yes. That's always great. Never gonna disappoint. I wouldn't be mad if they would only show Kevin Owens with Sami Zayn matches, like 5 matches of them rather than all the other matches. It was awesome as always. And in the end, and because Owens, of course, still suffering from the Nigerian nail and so on. So in the end, Sami Zayn with like a super kick to Owens' face, and then a super helluva kick, and then Sami Zayn gets the victory. Great, cool match, good ending in this case. The only match with a good ending. Gonna continue, I assume, the feud, but that was cool. Okay. I was happy for a while now. Let's look at my notes, seeing Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, right? So, who's the heel? So Flair attacked Ripley before the match began, and then they're like going back and forth. Big boot here, almost got the victory. Then Rhea Ripley fights back, submission, but of course Charlotte kicks out or gets out of it, and figure 4, and Rhea Ripley uses the ropes just as Charlotte did before, and so on. So it's a good match. Until the end. Because the finish is weird, because the finish comes like this DQ when they're at the outside, and then Rhea Ripley uses like the cover of the commentator table and just throws it, or just basically bangs Charlotte in it or with it, and then that's the DQ. So Charlotte Flair wins via DQ, Rhea Ripley ends still. What? Oh God, great match, good match, until that finish again. Like, what in the world? And let's just stick with like what in the world finishes. Hell in a Cell match, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre. First, okay, they didn't use the Cell as much, but okay, the powerhouses throwing it against the Cell and so on. Whatever, of course, interference, MVP gets beat up, of course. And then like again back and forth and so on, and you would think, okay, but now that's it. And then even McIntyre, of course, with a future shock DDT, but because the referee was down, so no one could count. Oh no! This then led when then everything broke down, and MVP was then there, because then a second referee came and then he was counting, and then MVP pulls down the referee, and then everything broke down, and MVP gets the Claymore and so on. And then in the end, the setup again, McIntyre sets up for the super Claymore, but MVP just grabs his foot, grabs his leg, and then Lashley with another roll up. What in the... Oh my God. If I was a subscriber to the network, I would unsubscribe right now. Or to Peacock or whatever, right? Holy... Bah. Now the rule is, apparently McIntyre cannot ask for a title match anymore. Luckily, let's move on from this. But oh my God, this was... I saw lots of good grades for this, but that finish again, you don't need Hell in a Cell for that. Like, none of the matches really needed a cell. It's just like, it's the pay-per-view name, so we do it. But oh God, Hell in a Cell used to be so cool, so exciting, and now it's just lame. So overall, the matches were good at times until the finishes. And I mean, the finish is a big part of the match, so, and the storyline. So, not a fan. I'm sorry. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm exaggerating here. Maybe I'm not the right target audience. What do you think? How did you like Hell in a Cell? How do you compare it to Dynamite and so on? Let me know. Shout out in the comments via social media at funkitpod, or email funkitpod@gmail.com. Until then, don't forget to always kick out a 2. Take care, stay safe. See you soon.